All right, let's go back to one of our top stories for today. Rea Vaya bus operator PioTrans coming under business rescue following a creditor's attempt to seize its buses. Maladministration and generally bad business practices have been blamed. We're now joined by Dick Forslund, senior economist at Alternative Information and Development Centre, and he joins us via our video link. Dick, thank you so much for joining us this evening here on SABC News. Of course, the news coming in there that PioTrans bus operator for Rea Vaya being placed under business rescue. Perhaps let's start off here. Where did it all go wrong for Rea Vaya?
Well, according to the business rescuer, who seems to know what he's talking about, there has been looting of the company. There has been fraud and sort of payment of invoices that shouldn't be paid, business contracts that makes no sense, and according to in one of the interviews, it was mentioned 50 million in expenditures that can't be explained in 2021, and over 100 million rand in such wasteful and fruitless expenditure in 21-22. So of course, if you do it like that, then you will go down.
Yeah.
So that is it seems, but we hope now that he can do his job and put the buses sort of right now. One worker told in one interview I watched today, out of 140 buses, only 29 right now is in traffic. And one reason is that the company hasn't paid the companies who are repairing and maintaining buses.
And of course,
it has to be rescued.
Yeah, and this being a major concern for those who actually use the Rea Vaya bus system, as well as those who actually are employed by Rea Vaya. You know, what does this mean now that it's placed under business rescue? I mean, commuters are, concerned. There are workers as well who are concerned. What does this mean for the company?
Well, it means, hopefully it means that all the mismanagement and the fraudulent payments will stop, and that the incomes of the company will not go sort of down the drain or serve vested interest or private interest, fraudulent interests. Secondly, well, I hope that the 13th check of the workers will be paid. As you know, there have been strike earlier this year. I think it was in March. And according to what shop stewards and workers say, almost every month there are non-payment of wages, or they come 5 days late or 10 days late, and people have debit orders and this type of stuff, and it can't go on like this, of course. But if there's a business rescue, then in theory at least, everything should be going on like before. There would be meetings with creditors and a plan for when the debt to the creditors can be paid off. But I sincerely hope that the workers are prioritized here, because they are the ones who are running the company. And I mean, one experience from collective transports in Europe or United States, where it's been tried since 30 years, it is that usually the staff tends to leave the company if they can, because usually working conditions are worsened. And I mean, that has been the case in Stockholm, for example, with the private company MTR, which I believe is a Chinese company, that the commuter trains are not running because there's no staff, because the staff have left to their staff shortages, because people try to leave, because when they compete for these contracts, if you have such a model, then one way to have a better sort of to win the contract is to worsen the conditions, or to sort of to put the squeeze on the employees. And people don't like that, of course, and they don't like it either in Johannesburg. So that is what I hope will happen.
Yeah. And Dick, one would ask, when it comes to the business model for Rea Vaya, I mean, we all know that, it was introduced in the country because of the 2010 World Cup and to improve the local transport system, especially in metropolitan cities in this country. Would you say that, enough thought was put into this business model?
Well, I mean, at the heart of the business model is the effort with the BEE policy, Black Economic Empowerment, and it is a kind of the. I mean, to me, it is strange to have such an important service as commuter trains or buses, to have them as private companies, because they are too important to fail, and you have to have political responsibility, accountability. Such companies, they are a kind of natural monopolies. I mean, you can't have 3 or 4 different bus companies running the same route. You have one company, and it should be publicly run, basically. So, I mean, I listened to the interview with a Democratic Alliance, a member of the transport committee. I believe he's an MP, and he wants, of course, as is DA policy, he wants to go further into privatization. I think that this crisis should be a window for us to sort of really going a public pathway when it comes to these important services like public transport of people who can't afford a car. And I mean, it would even be better. And I think that was an aim also of this whole project 13, 14 years ago, that you should also try to get some of the cars off the streets, off the roads, that even people who can afford a car and is using a car, they would rather choose collective transport in order to improve the air in Johannesburg and in order to basically make the transport of people more effective. And you would also combat climate change, in fact, if you would do that. So I mean, that should be the aim of public transport, and really make it public for the whole of the public, even if people who are private cars.
And Dick, one would ask...
I'm struggling with my camera here to see.
Yeah, we can see that you are really having technical problems there, but we can hear you quite clearly. And one would ask, when it comes to making Rea Vaya work, Dick, and making it sustainable and making it productive, what would you say is really needed in this country or in Johannesburg to make it work?
Well, I'm not an expert on running buses, etc. But I mean, you have to have a vision of a public transport system, which is where all the essential kind of infrastructure in the country is working. Sort of, you have to have a public economy vision for such a thing as a public transport. That is the first thing. And then I would say that is really a majority empowerment when it comes to participating in the economy for unemployed who are searching for jobs, or simply people coming to work. That should be the priority, not the first priority to, as it said, empower a minority of shareholders. If you have such a vision, then you kind of have you have two motives, or you have two goals of such a. You must prioritize one goal, and then you should prioritize the commuters. And I mean, there's such a demand for public transport. It shouldn't really be a problem of having the economy of such a company to be recovered, because the tickets will start to come in again. And if you can stop the looting and the corruption in the company, then it's almost inevitable that it will run with a surplus every year. And you can build it out, you can have more buses, etc., etc., and you can have more stations. I mean, there were plans 2 years ago to open new bus stations for Rea Vaya, but that hasn't happened yet. But I mean, that is, I think, the vision that the local government should have. with such a bus company.
Yeah. Okay, Dick, thank you so much for your time this evening here on SABC News. That is Dick Forslund. He is a senior economist at Alternative Information and Development Centre.